Hi guys, welcome back. This is Deepesh from freshersworld.com. Welcome to our YouTube channel on jobs and careers. Today we'll be dealing with some of the most powerful and beautiful programming language, something known as Java. So we'll be starting with the first initial classes. So now going forward we'll be having multiple series of Java where you can learn what is core Java and advanced stuff. So now today to begin we'll see what is Java, what made Java come into an existence, what is the history on Java. So we'll try to see what is the drawbacks in the programming languages or what made an effort to make something known as Java with respect to programming languages. So now Java. So this was developed in the year 1995 by Sun Microsystems. Sun Microsystems. Later this is owned by Oracle Corporation. Now Java we call it as an platform independent or write once run anywhere. So going forward to all these things we'll try to see what made this Java to come into an existence. So what are the drawbacks which were there in the programming languages which made up to evolve a programming language something known as Java. So before that we have to understand some of the basics with respect to computers. Now with respect to computer, if I have a computer, assume this computer is of 1985. Now this is the machine that I was using in year 1985. What does a computer consist of? It consists of, a mouse, something like this. It consists of a keyboard. So this is a computer. So how does computer understand? Computer always understands things in terms of 1 or 0. It should be plus or it should be minus. So now one important component in this computer would be a processor. The processor is the very important part of the computer. Now if I want a program, if I want an output for 1 plus 2, what should be the output? It has to be 3. How do I give it to a processor so that I'll get an output 3? How do I write it? Now I'll write a simple C program. I write a simple C program, something like print f1 plus 2. Now when I compile this, I'll get a assembly level language code, something like allocate A, like 1, allocate B. Now we are assigning memories, allocate B. Now we are assigning memories. Now I'll try to add A plus B. So this might not be the exact assembly level language program, but when I say add A plus B, this converts to 1 0 1 0 1 0 1 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 if it is an 8-bit machine, and it gives to the processor. Assume the processor that I am using is Intel. Now I get the output as 3. So this is a very basic flow. Now here we have a compiler which compiles the program. We have an assembler. So we have an assembler. So the assembler helps us to compile the assembly level programming language into zeros and ones, and it is executed on a machine. Now we have understood a C program if it has to give an output on an Intel processor way back in 1985. Assuming this processor was powered by Intel, we write a simple C program. It compiles, it converts to an assembly level language program. Now again an assembler helps us to compile to a machine level code. Now the machine level code is given to the processor, we get the output. Now assume the same C program you want to execute, or you want to have this assembly level language code to be executed on an AMD processor, something known as AMD processor. Now when you want to execute the same assembly level code on your AMD processor, do you think the instruction that we have used here, something known as add A plus B, would work on AMD processor? It might work, it might not work. The assembly level programming languages is entirely dependent on the processor. Now the instructions that we write, something known as add A plus B, for the Intel processor may not work for the AMD processor. Now if I want such a program, it adds two numbers and it gives me the output on any operating system or any processor, what should I do is the question. So on this question, there was a new programming language that was introduced, something known as Java. So now what was the drawback? We'll try to recap it again and we'll try to see what is the drawback that was there in a programming language, something like C, which executes a native code based on the processors. Now we'll just recap what is the drawbacks and what made us to introduce a new programming language known as Java. Now I have a simple program, something like print 1 plus 2. Now I give it to the compiler. Now it generates assembly level code. It generates the assembly level code wherein it tries to allocate memory for A 1, so it tries to allocate memory B for 2, it tries to add A plus B, and it calls the operating system to perform the operation. Now once this assembler would convert to 01, 10, 10, 11, this is nothing but your machine code that executes on your Intel processor. Now if I want the same assembly level code to work on AMD processor, do you think this works? This will not work. Now how to make it work? There might be another instruction, something known as add or addition A plus B. Now if you give this, it converts to 01, 11, 1, 0, 1. So now you can see the difference. The machine level code in Intel might be different. The machine level code that executes on AMD processor is different. Now this assembly level code is the basic elementary language for all software development. Now this assembly level code is specific to the processors. Now using this assembly level code, you will not be able to execute the programs on different processors. Now if I have this assembly level code, now if I want to give it to an Intel processor, this will work. If I want to give this same to the AMD processor, it will not work. Again, if I want to give this to the Linux operating system with probably IBM processor, it might not work. So now this was the problem that was there before the language Java. When they introduced a new programming language, something known as Java, we came out of this problem. Now the code in the C programming language is always platform dependent. The code is always platform dependent. So if you have an Intel processor, the code or the assembly level language for Intel processors would be different. For AMD processor, it is entirely different, wherein you write one simple program which you will not be able to run on other systems or on the other processors. So now in the second video, we will be seeing how the problem of platform dependency was solved in Java, which is the major and the most important feature, something known as platform independent. We call Java to be a platform independent. So on this concept, we'll be seeing how this Java is platform independent, how the Java programs can be executed on multiple machines. If you're looking to learn something more on Java, please like and share, and we'll be continuing this in the second video. Thank you.